Well, my garden is officially put to bed. It's sleeping till next season. So I thought it's a good time to look back. I always do. I need to know if I'm successful in my goal of providing for my family with vegetables for a year. And I did. It was a great year and I've got lots of stored vegetables. So I'm very happy. But I thought I'd just review in pictures some of my harvests from the year past. And at the end of November, there's my last harvest. Well, the first thing I was able to harvest were these beautiful and delicious chestnut mushrooms. I purchased a growing kit, and though kits aren't cheap at all, it was something I wanted to try for a long time. They grew so fast, I think it was a little over 2 weeks, and were fun to watch to grow. And tasty. And then I put the brick outside, the growing medium, in the wood chips. So maybe I'll see some pop up this year. The beds here are still pretty sparse June 1st. I start seeds all throughout May, but they're just little seedlings at this point. However, my indoor plants are producing. Here you can see some of the peppers, the yellow beans, tomatoes, parsley, green onions, and asparagus from outdoors. And the indoor tomatoes and peppers produce for another 6 months. Then I welcomed the perennial chive blossoms so I could make my chive blossom vinegar. So easy, and a beautiful vinegar with a slight onion taste. And my basil indoors started to grow also. And finally, by the end of June, the wee seedlings are popping up and I'm getting some of those early crops. Lettuce, leaf lettuce, cut and come again, green onions, radishes, white turnips. And that, with added my indoor produce, I'm starting to be able to make salads. That continued on all season. I made sure to do successional planting for all these. Then came the lovely garlic scapes. I made sure to get every last one of them. And then what I do with those is I chop and freeze them. I do enjoy them at the time, but then I have them all winter. I plant my snow pea seeds as soon as the ground can be worked. That's in April. So they're the first to pop up. And my winter sown broccoli was just amazing this year, and I got that very early. And then of course the perennial herbs pop up, and my indoor basil's doing great. And always one of life's little joys is when those strawberries come. I've got a whole bed dedicated to my strawberry plants, perennials coming year after year. We stuff our face with as much as we can, and each day what's left over I will bag and freeze. Nearing the end of July, the garden is starting to look lush all over, and we're eating so well. My daughter says we eat like kings and queens, and it's just a joy when all those beautiful veggies start coming in. I propagated red currant and black currant berry bushes over the winter, and in spring planted them out, and already in the first year one of them had 3 berries. Now I forgot to take a picture of my harvest of black currants and red currants, but here's one from the year before. Then all at once came my sugar snap peas, my shell peas, and my broad beans, so I was busy harvesting those for quite a while. Lots in the freezer, though. Carrots were coming into their own early August. Another beautiful perennial. On August 8th, I was able to pull my lavender in and hung it for drying. August was also when the green beans were ready. Loads and loads of green beans. And then it was time, every year I harvest my garlic pretty much around the same time in August. And the potato plants were really coming along, so that's when I start sneaking small little potatoes for new potatoes. Also kale started coming on full on, and endless amounts of broccoli. First year I had so much broccoli. But the kale, what we couldn't eat at the time, I would chop, blanch, and freeze. And before August ended, my tomatoes were starting to fruit, which is always a relief to me. That means they have enough time to start to color. But at the same time, indoors, I'm still getting peppers and tomatoes. And by September, most of the vegetables are in their prime and I'm very busy. Here I am waiting for someone in my car, potting the beans. Meal planning is pretty much a breeze now because there's so much to choose from. I just keep harvesting and harvesting little bits, try to eat them as I go. What I can't, I'll put in the freezer or on the shelves. Patty pans are in, leeks are starting to come, chard, it's also delicious. I do make sure lots of time is spent simply admiring what's taking place in the garden at each stage, sharing it with others. I love to just rub my hands between the herbs and smell them. Or just sit outside with a coffee and take the time to sit and watch the sunset. Or maybe I just stare out at the ocean. I had pulled my red Norland and Irish cobbler potatoes earlier. They come faster than my russet Burbank, but by September 11th, they were all out. I kept my eye on the onions as the tops began to fall, and before the month was out, I had them all harvested and drying indoors. Also, my garlic had fully cured by this time. All my dry beans for storage were coming in, and I slowly worked on hanging my onions and garlic in the pantry. I'm always grateful when that job is completed. It's so rewarding. I'm always a fail at cucumbers, but I did get to enjoy a few cucumber sandwiches. And we got a little bit of the corn. And by this time now in the garden, it's just food in abundance. Well, October 7th came, it was getting chilly, there was frost warnings, and I made the decision to pull all my squash in and all my tomatoes. They were green, but I can say that pretty much every single one of them ripened beautifully. Look at those gorgeous scarlet runner beans. Then I started pulling Brussels sprouts and celery and cabbage. I did really well with red cabbage this year. In fact, I think I have 9 still in my crisper. That's a lot of cabbage. I also see here some rutabaga and kohlrabi. Happy times. At the very end of October, bit by bit, I cleared out the remaining vegetables in all the beds, and lots of processing went on. I guess I find myself measuring success by how many baskets of produce make it into the house. Every meal I make feels like a celebration of mine and the garden's hard work. The garden becomes not just a space, but an experience of abundance and joy. Thank you so much for watching. Take care. We'll see you soon.